And I also see that there's a synergy between young climate activists or activists working together with financial institutions in driving the necessary change that we need in solving the climate crisis. For example, I founded the Elite Climate Action Initiative in order to bridge the gap in trying to strengthen measures towards achieving climate action. And one of such that we are doing is the fact that when we notice the gap that is affecting women and girls like me towards contributing towards solving the climate crisis, I decided to start giving or empowering them with information and also the tools that we need to become custodian of our environment. One of such is giving them access to organic fertilizers, indigenous seedlings, and also other equipment. This is because globally women just own 40% of land, and this in Nigeria is what is affecting women and girls. That in Nigeria alone, women have less than 1% ownership for land. And since there is less access to control land, it affects women participation in agricultural activities and other activities that we need to contribute our indigenous ideas. And so for the elite climate that I'm leading, we are trying to bring about women adaptation initiative in order to strengthen our fight for climate justice. And so we have been doing this and we have empowered more than 10,000 women because we find out that this gap is making women to stay behind in solving the defining issue of our time. Because if you don't have land, it's very difficult for you to have access to financial tools to become empowered, to become productive in agriculture or water resources and the rest. And so we identify this gap and we see how we could empower them. And so imagine if we have access to more financial tools, we would have empowered more millions of people globally and even billions of women and girls that have the solutions to solve the climate crisis, because everyone have the solution, either female or male, we all have the solutions. But because women bear the burden, and then they are left out of the solutions towards environmental protection, adaptation, and other things that we need in solving the defining issue of our time. And also, secondly, we could also see that from report, it reveals that women in sub-Saharan Africa spend 40 billion hours in a year to search for water. And also globally, women spend 200 million hours in a day to search for water, which is really disheartening to see that those large time constraints affect women total participation in agricultural issues. And yes, organizations like me and every other organizations that people are leading, young people, women, men, could also be supported in order to drive home the necessary solutions that we need in making women to convert those large time constraints towards economic empowerment, self-empowerment, which the elite climate is leading. And also thirdly is to also a green democracy, because we find out that democracy is just all about human rights. We need to also include the voice of our environment, because environment is affecting human rights. And at such, we cannot have human rights if we don't have rights, if environmental rights is not right. And so the two rights have to go in hand in order for us to have a democracy that is workable, which I tag to be green democracy. And fourthly, I also see how we could also pioneer climate education, because it is necessary in different fields, in different sectors, to make people to be aware about the crisis and then how we could all solve it together. And this, we have been able to develop a curriculum for a Catalana-based organizations that have been helping us to spread the news or the words about the climate crisis in different curriculum or schools. And so these are what we are also trying to share. And also we have been able to bring about more young people to come into the movement for climate justice. And so we have also online platforms and also using blog spots and YouTube channels to also involve as many people as possible. And as a grassroots based organization, we are also bringing awareness from the grassroots for people to understand why they need to act on the climate crisis, and also engaging leaders globally. And so there's a need for young people movement to synchronize with financial institution, which financial institution needs to always include organizations that could also be supported in scaling up their actions for us to be able to reach out to as many people as possible in dealing with the crisis, because we also have the solutions that we are trying to create. Sometimes we are being affected by lack of funding in order to carry out the necessary things that we need. And so through this way, if given, if empowered, we could also as well empower millions of people in our communities and even across the world to be able to become climate champion and to become the solutions that we are looking for. So thank you so very much. We are really looking forward to different um empowerment scheme or support from different financial organizations. And I believe I'm speaking the mind of other organizations that are led by youth, women, and different individuals in trying to seek how we could get the necessary support in pushing forward our activism. Thank you.